Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another cool warm look, which is great for all those transitions going into fall, and it's really great if you do your makeup first and then decide what to wear because a cool warm look goes with everything. So stay tuned to see how to get this look. As always, I have just prepped my skin and we are starting bare face with a full face tutorial. I know that these are really helpful, especially if you are just getting started in makeup yourself. Or, you know, honestly, I was watching a video tutorial or a makeup tutorial the other day while I was putting my makeup on, and my husband was like, "Why are you watching this?" And I love watching people put makeup on, so let's get started. I'm going to start with my Corrector by Bobbi Brown, and we're just getting rid of any discoloration that is going on underneath the eyes. This is in the shade Bisque, which if you look at my skin tone might feel like it would be a little bit dark, but definitely play around with these colors because depending on the darkness underneath your eyes, you might need to go a little bit darker than you think. And Bisque is such a great kind of peachy pink corrector. Like once you have it on, you almost feel like you have concealer on, which is great. So because we're kind of doing not quite two focuses, but sort of, I'm going to prep the skin and I'm going to get my lip on before we really get into the eyes because I want to make sure that I'm not going to overdo the eyes. I kind of want to play with that cool warm look again because a lot of the clothes this year are that in between, or they're featuring both cool and warm tones. And it's such a great way if you don't get dressed first and you do your makeup first, like I do. Sometimes I'm not sure what I'm going to be wearing, and I do my makeup first and then I get dressed. I don't know if I'm going to be wearing something cool or warm. So kind of being able to play with both of those things is a little bit of a luxury that you're giving yourself. Because then you can really wear anything because no matter what you wear, it's going to play nicely with your makeup. So I'm just prepping the skin with my NARS Smudge Proof Primer. This one is tinted. I know it's really hard to get a hold of right now, but hopefully they will be kind of restocking everything soon. I'm shaking my foundation bottle just to make sure that the pigments are all evenly dispersed before I pump it out on my hand. Another trick would be to another trick would be to make sure that your hand has a little bit of moisturizer on there so that your skin on your hand doesn't absorb any of the foundation that you're pumping out. All these little tips and tricks just help you have your product last longer because when you buy a good product, it's expensive and you want it to last and you want it to work really well. And again, it might seem a little overwhelming when you're first getting started, or even if you're like in the middle of your beauty journey, but before you know it, you're going to be getting all this makeup done in like 20 minutes, maybe even less. And you're gonna think, oh, that wasn't that hard. I'm going to equate it to cooking because I wasn't the cook in the family for a really long time, and now that my husband is so busy with work, I need to make sure that I'm cooking for the kiddos and myself. Well, and him, of course. And, you know, the more I do the same recipe over and over again, the better I get. And then it just becomes second nature. Using my fluffiest foundation brush because I don't want a heavy foundation look. When you take care of your skin, you really don't need to hammer on that foundation. And then we are going to add a little bit of our highlighter because no matter what season it is, it's nice to have a little glow. And because it's not super hot anymore and we're getting into the cooler moments of fall, our skin is soaking up all that moisture that we're putting into our skincare now. But sometimes that means that there's not any glow left for our skin because the product is getting soaked up so quickly. So it's nice to just give it a little boost. And then I'm going to use the Precision Powder Brush from BK Beauty in my pale yellow powder. And just hit kind of through the center of the face. And then pretty soon we're going to be moving on to the lips so I can see how I want to balance out the rest of my face. At this stage, you always look a little like flat, right? Because you haven't added any color back in. You've taken all the color away. And you might think, oops, I went too far. But just wait till you add in your bronzer and your blush and your lipstick, and then see if, then readjust if you need to. Okay, I'm gonna grab my Painterly lipstick. Okay, so right away, the first things that I notice is that my eye color, my green eyes are popping so much already. So I know I don't want to do a 10, but my skin has kind of taken a step back. So I need to liven up my skin a little bit more, and I need to make sure that I keep my eyes really simple so that everything stays in balance. Oh, yes, I do have a new bronzer. So we are going to be using said new bronzer, finally, to just warm up the face a little bit. And even though this is, I think she calls it, Natasha Denona calls it her sculpting powder. I think she does that because it's a matte. Speaking of matte versus shimmer, if you want to do kind of like that contour bronze that I'm doing, please make sure you are using a matte powder instead of a shimmer, because if you put shimmer underneath your cheekbone, you're actually going to pop that out and your face is going to look fuller. If you just want a bronzy glow and you're only going to be putting it on your actual cheekbone and not underneath, then you can put a little shimmer in there. So anything that has shimmer is going to pop forward. Anything that's matte is going to recede. Yes, we are going to be using a gloss, but I'm not. I brought down Petal and Muse from Lisa Eldridge. So Petal is much more pink, Muse is much more brown, and they're basically the same color. This one's going to add a little bit of rosiness. So I'm going to wait until I do my eyes and see what I need. Okay, for my blush, I'm going to use Mocha from MAC because it's kind of the only rosy blush I have. And I just cleaned it off. I did a recent wipe down of all my makeup, so it is coming on a little strong. So I'm going to take my foundation brush with nothing on it, and I'm just going to tap over and blend everything together. So you can see that my eyes are now kind of taking a back seat to my complexion. So now we need to pop those forward. If this is starting to feel a little like, hang in there with me. Okay, so now we're gonna do the brows, and I'm gonna use my eyeshadows as always. Starting in the center and working my way out using the lighter colors on the inside of my brows, starting at the root and then dragging through. And then using my darker color on the outer half. Okay, where do you stop your brows? You stop your brows if you follow your lower lash line right about there. So you can see I can bring mine out a little bit more if I want to. There. Same thing over here. Oh, we're almost there. Something else you want to take into consideration is, do you actually have hair growing in the places where your brows are supposed to start and stop? And just remember that all of this is based on the golden ratio. Yes, I'm getting makeup nerdy with you, and symmetry and all that. You don't have to follow all these rules, but this is just kind of how we as humans define beauty, as symmetry, and in the really the Greek style of what is symmetry. So share that with your next party. I'm sure you'll wow them all with your golden ratio talk. Okay, I'm going to take my fluffy BK Beauty brush with my, oh, that is not helpful, with my sculpting powder. And I'm going to use that as my first shadow. That is, you know, this is actually a really similar shade to Matte Kid, but it's definitely more brown than pink. But it's kind of the same intensity. And you guys know I am obsessed with this powder, but I'm also obsessed with Kid. And this, again, we're just, you know, we're trying to balance out the lip. Because as soon as we put the lip on, it took command. And we want everything to talk to each other. Okay, you could totally stop here and maybe amp it up a little bit more, add liner, mascara, all that jazz, and you would be good to go. Am I gonna stop here? No. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Kid and Royal Rendezvous on a Sonia Kashuk brush. Ooh. And I'm just gonna go over, and this is a pointed brush. So it's really going to define that crease. Holy moly, you can see the difference. And I can tell if I added another darker shadow, then we would be getting into a completely different tutorial than I want this one to be. So we are going to take a step back, make sure that both sides are equal. I can tell that this side needs a little bit more, just a touch. But these shades just really define the bone structure. Okay, everything is talking to each other. We're good to go. I'm going to go in with a little Ricepaper, which is a really soft, super soft gold. I'm going to start right in the center, and then I'm going to bring that to my inner lid. And I'm just slowly building that up. Why am I not going with the silver? Because if I went with the silver, then this whole look would be cool. Not like cool, but on the cooler color spectrum. I've actually been layering Ricepaper over my Charlotte Tilbury liquid eyeshadow, and it's been really fun to play with because it kind of tones down that bronziness, which I think I'm going to do a tutorial on that as well. Now I'm going to take my chocolate shimmer, because we are all about the chocolate today, because Painterly from Lisa Eldridge is definitely a chocolatey red. And we are finding our angle. And then I'm just going to go over that after I do this with my liquid liner. So that's a really good trick if you're kind of a newbie to liquid liner. You don't have to just put that down first. You can start with an eyeshadow, or you can start with a gel liner. Find your angle and then go back over with the liquid. We're doing the same thing on this side. Really making sure that I'm working this into my lash line. And you know what? Something else, when you use a liquid liner, it is not as easy to get it close enough to the lash line so that it doesn't look like you have a break. So using something like an eyeshadow or a gel is super helpful to just kind of closing any gaps that could be happening between your product and your lash line. Because if you do have a gap, it kind of looks like if you've ever gotten false lashes and they couldn't get it close enough to your lash line, it just looks unfinished or like you made a mistake. Okay, I'm not going to do my liquid liner all the way across my lid because I'm really like digging the idea of having browns during the day and then amping it up at night. So we're going to use the Stila, which honestly I think is the best, and it is the best. Okay, I'm going to hold my mirror a little bit further back, and I'm pretty much just going to go right on top of my wing, and I'm just going to use this for the actual wing. Again, you can always lay down your product kind of like this and make a mark, and you're just following your lower lash line. Little dashes. Okay. Just that little bit. And you can see that this side is much stronger now than this side. This is waterproof. Pretty much sweat and life proof. Okay. This eye is angled just a little bit differently than this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in with our primer. I'm going to put a little bit on my hand. I'm going to take my angle brush. I'm going to dip it into that primer. You can also do this with a Q-tip, especially like a triangular one. And I'm just going to get rid of that lower angle. And because there is so much silicone, it just works like a magic eraser. And you just do little bits at a time. There. Now they are even. And I just, there we go. And I think I might get rid of a little bit of this tip. You can make your line. You should play with the length of your line and see what feels really comfortable to you. I like a little bit of a thicker line just because of my eye shape, but if you have more almond-shaped eyes and smaller eyes, then something that is thinner and goes out a little bit more is going to look really good on you. Something else to remember when you're doing your liquid liner is that you really want to try to relax your face. If you are scrunching your face or smiling, then it's going to be a disaster. So try to relax your face and have lots of eyeshadow primer on hand, because everybody makes mistakes and everybody needs a little cleanup job, especially if you want it to be really crisp and clean, like if you're doing it for photos. Or maybe you are also a makeup artist and you're doing it on a film set or something. That is going to be super helpful just to have in your bag of tricks. Okay, we're going in with our Smokey Eye Mascara. Getting all the way down to the roots and pulling that through. It is so important to do mascara. Should you do brown mascara? That's totally up to you. If you are under 20, brown mascara is a great way to go. It's just so much more natural, especially during the day. And just making sure all the lashes are nice and coated evenly with your mascara. Okay, we're going to zhuzh the hair a little bit because basically our look is done and you can absolutely end here. I'm going to add a little bit of gloss, and I think I'm going to go with Muse because I'm wearing like an oatmeal sweater and I'm wearing a tweed skirt, so I'm kind of oatmeal-y today. And I'm feeling balance of colors going on, so I don't think I need to brighten it up at all. And that is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I hope this was helpful on lots of tips and tricks on how to use liquid liner and how to fix any mistakes that might happen. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, I do beauty videos every Friday, and there's lots of skincare chats going on the blog, which I will link below. Thank you again for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up, and I will see you very soon. Bye!